Welcome in, everyone, to another Titans Bros video. I was going to say a video recap. We're not really recapping to a video. This is a recapping video of a disgusting football game. Just a disgusting football game.
It was bad. Obviously, any lose is bad, but losing to the Colts, which is a division team that knocks us 2-3, they're 3-2, and I think we're going to lose the next week, setting us up for a 2-4 going into the bye. So that's an ugly lose any way you look at it.
Yeah, it was just, in my opinion, unnecessary. And I know you're going to disagree with me, but I think we would have won that game if Anthony Richardson was playing the whole thing. Because the one touchdown drive they did have was just a 53-yard run by Moss. So it's not like he was never able just to move him down the field and put up 7.
Yeah, but the thing is, they ran it down our throats. So I almost don't think it matters who the quarterback was. I think they could just run it down our throats.
They did that, except that last drive that they had was just stupid. How they just run it, and find somebody up on third down. Run it, find somebody open on third down. I'm like, how many times can we allow this?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe it.
That was pathetic on defense. Defense, we played really bad. I didn't like our secondary. I didn't like our run stop. We played bad. And this is troubling because that's 2 weeks in a row now that we couldn't stop the run. So that's troubling. Pass rush was non-existent too.
The problem is, I feel like as the season goes on, it's getting where I feel like there's more. I know we have a lot of cap space next year, but I'm feeling like it's getting to a point where there's more and more and more holes.
I feel that, yep.
On the roster, because I thought our secondary would be okay. It'd be okay. Our secondary, in my opinion, is just proving to be horrible. And we're giving a lot of money to our safeties, like 15, 16, I think, million for Byard and like 10 or 11 for Hooker. So we got like $25, $26 million going out to those safeties. Hooker, surprisingly, is kind of worth it. To me, I'm kind of okay. And I already said this pre-video. I'm kind of getting to the point where I might be okay with us cutting Byard.
Yeah, you said that. That's bold, but I agree with you in the sense that he's not doing anything out there, and he's just getting paid a lot of money for that. Here's the problem. Like you said, we have so many holes because I don't like Fulton. He needs replaced. I think Mr. Bunting guy, I think he's not doing great. I don't think he's bad as Fulton, but he's not doing great to me.
He's just doing average to me.
And then Byard is like, he could be a cap casualty, and I'm still thinking, man, that's a lot of holes right there, just right there in itself. That could be fixed.
Because one of our problems are, and this is why I guess he's jobless, is if you stop and think about how many misses John Robinson has.
Yeah.
Caleb Farley is a first-round cornerback. If he was playing like a first-round cornerback, we wouldn't have that nor nearly as big as of a need at cornerback.
Yeah.
Adoree Jackson, 2017, first-round cornerback. Christian Fulton, second-round cornerback. Like, these are high. This is high capital to be using on cornerbacks who are continuing to be an issue. Now, I'm not going to harp on this part too much because our O-line, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, O-line wasn't that bad. Or we allowed 1 sack.
I think Tannehill got rushed a lot, though.
He got rushed a lot, but allowing 1 sack for this O-line, I'll take it. But it goes back to J-Rob and why he got fired. In 2016, drafts a tackle in the first round. And then I don't think he did anything in 2017, 18, or 19. But in 2020... Oh, in 2020. It was 2021. When did he get Isaiah Wilson?
2020.
It was 2020. Yeah, you're right. 2020, he got Isaiah Wilson, missed on him. 2021, tried to correct it by bringing in Dylan Radins in the second round. That was a miss as well. And then 2022, Nicholas Petit-Frere, kind of for now, is a miss at tackle in the third round. And then this year, we bring in Andre Dillard to try to correct all those mistakes at tackle. And still, we have, at this point, 2 not good tackles.
I still think this is just a coaching issue in my mind, but I don't think MPF can be worse than Dillard. So I think there's no reason for Dillard to be playing and no reason for MPF to be on the sidelines, in my opinion. Now, granted, if only 1 sack was allowed, it means Dillard probably played a better game for him this week, but I still think that there's really no reason for him to be out there anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also helps that Nicholas Petit Frere was probably not in the greatest shape in the world because he's technically was ruled out, even though he is not injured, has no
Yeah,
injury designation. So I'm not really sure how they're even able to do that. How do you rule somebody out with no injury? Wouldn't you just make them inactive game day?
I don't know.
So I don't
Um,
understand how it made any sense at all.
Another thing is though our offensive line, and you have to admit this, but they didn't do great in run blocking either.
No,
So here's the problem. Once again, I know it's way too early to be talking off seasons. We already addressed the defense needs some help. Offense line could use some help again. We need receivers. We need a quarterback, but I don't think we're gonna do that because we got Will Levis. So I'm just like, man, this is so much to fix. So much to fix in this team.
yeah, I agree. I agree, and I'm sure we're just overreacting off of a 2-3
Which is
dropping
not
down
good
two and
though.
three.
I mean, this is not good. This is far enough into the season to me that you can't say, "Oh, it's early." Okay, well, we'll get a couple of weeks. We'll be halfway done the season. Okay, we can't just say it's early. We gotta fix stuff, And we're 2-3.
It's
We're not a good
crazy.
team.
It's crazy how just depending on the situation you're in, how things make a difference. Because we're 2-3 this year and not happy about it. But last year we were 2-3, but we were happy about it. No, actually, we weren't 2-3. Never mind. Because we lost our first two, but then we won 3 in a row, I believe. So we actually jumped up to 3-2. But yeah, so that wasn't gonna be
But
valid. But
we went. Well, we only scored 16 points, which our offense moved the ball better than it has, in some of our losses. But at the end of the day, we only scored 16 points. So at the end of the day, we're still not scoring any points, and that's what matters.
that's
Now,
what our biggest
defense is
issue.
good.
That's what I think's been our biggest issue this year.
It was red zone offense.
Red zone offense. Because how are you going to kick 5 field goals in week 1? 5 field goals, not score a single touchdown, and lose by 1 point. Then guess what? Chargers, we actually were able to score and we won. Then now against the Browns, we're not going to talk about that. But then we were actually able to score against the Bengals. And now we had, what were we, 16? So we had 1 touchdown, 3 field goals.
That's how you lose.
It
That's
is,
how you
and not
lose.
just that, but one thing that doesn't show up on the stats sheet is us going for it on 4th on like the 3-yard line, which I was honestly okay with that.
I was too. I was going.
Yeah, I was fine, honestly okay with that. But technically, that's another failed red zone attempt. Where I'm like, why can we move it down the field and then we get into the red zone and we're nothing?
Yeah,
We need to take shots at the wide receivers. Like I know it sounds stupid, but I feel like every time we get in the red zone, we either dump it off in the flat or dump it off on to Tajay Spears on a 3-yard curl, or hand it off. Like he never snaps it, looks it, and shoots it at somebody in the end zone.
In the end zone, he does not. And
Never.
It shows, yes, I don't know if that's a coaching issue or a Tannehill issue, but I agree. We go stupid in the red zone. You're right. We will throw the ball for 1 yard or maybe even behind the line every single time we throw.
And those things work less in the red zone because the defense is so much closer up.
Yeah. It's
so like, yeah, you might hit Tajay Spears on a 3-yard curl, but guess what? As soon as he catches it, he's got all these linebackers who are in zone just drilling him in the back.
Which is what happened on the 3rd down before we went for it.
Mm-hmm.
He got smacked. Which I was okay with going for it, not happy with the call. First of all, Derrick Henry is, in my opinion, has been garbage that game. But if you had to run him, why run him out of shotgun? Why not just have him that 7 or 8 yards back? Well, at least he can maybe get some steam where he can fall for it,
But I think with the penetration that the defense got, I don't think it really mattered where we were going to be running that one from. I would have liked to see a fake run.
Me too. I didn't like the call in general. I don't think it was good. I like going for it. Didn't like the call though.
Yeah.
But here again, our defense needed to make a stop, and we made them just go down the whole field, wasting the rest of the game out. So this was the first game. Well, never mind. The Browns game. The Browns game, I can say this. But this game, I wasn't happy with offense or defense. I was,
I would agree. I would agree. Because defense was really.
We lost by 4 points, but I wasn't happy with the offense with only 16.
But I ended up losing by 7.
Actually, we lost 7. Yes, you're right. But I wasn't. And 23 is not awful, but I thought our defense played worse than the 23 points said.
Well, it's because they did it all on the ground, so the game time just went a lot quicker. Because I agree, our defense played. Because I've said it the opposite, where I've seen games where I'm like, I feel like our offense played better than this amount of points we actually put up. But today was the defense that was the opposite, where I agree. I feel like if their quarterback had not played at all, if it would have been Gardner Minshew from the get-go, they would have dropped 30 on us. We had
Yeah.
zero.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds so stupid to say out loud, but we had no answer for Zach Moss and Gardner Minshew.
But here's the thing. That's
Like, how many
sad.
times did they punt? How many times did they even punt?
The very first drive they did, and that might be it. They may have done it more. They didn't do it much.
Nope.
I'll say this. One thing is our money's not well spent right now. Kevin Byard spent paid a lot of money for him, and he's not doing well. Jeffrey Simmons is, and Jeffrey Simmons, I'm not gonna say he's been bad this year, but it's been his worst year as a starter in my opinion. And then Harold Landry, he is not worth a penny of his contract to me right now. He looks like just straight up garbage.
Let me put it this way: they say never count on anybody the first year after ACL to be any good. But I need to shake your head about that every single time. But that's what they say about anybody, and it always proves true too. Some reason people don't look at themselves the year after their ACL tear, and then the year after that
I
they
think
go right
he's
back to where
different
they
because
were.
he got hurt so early last year. Like, it's been over a year now, well over a year. So you need to start looking like Harold Landry. But go ahead, what was you saying? Or was that just what you just
No,
said?
by the end of the season, if he's not looking like his former self, then we got problems. But the problem is we've already restructured his contract, so he's already going to be uncuttable if we keep this up, or if we do, we'll cut him and be getting a huge cap hit over it.
But the thing is also, I just feel like everyone on pass rush didn't do so good. But I thought that this may have been the quietest. I have to look at some things, to see maybe I missed some plays. But I thought Denico Autry was kind of quiet today.
Our whole pass rush was non-existent. We only had one player with a sack. Do you know who it was?
You told me Roger McCreary.
Mm-hmm.
Roger McCreary.
Yeah.
Am I thinking about him? Like, he can't be worse than Fulton right now, can he? Like, why not make him start?
Well, he's starter in the slot.
Well,
so if we move him outside,
something's got to give a Fulton. He's not. He's just a liability.
He is. And the problem is at this point with Fulton, he's just a young guy. At this point, he's in his own head.
Yeah.
Like, he don't look to me like he's out there playing to be disruptive. He's not playing out there having fun. To me, he looks like he's just a stressed out mess because he's thinking about all those penalties he's done because he did another long pass interference this game. He's thinking about all the penalties he's done. He's thinking about all the long big plays he's given up. Just like that 3rd and 16, where Anthony Richardson just took a shot downfield. Guess who allowed it?
Fulton.
Yeah.
But I would say that rookie receiver they have, he looks like he might be good. So that's scary.
Just what they needed.
Yeah. That makes me mad though. These teams on our division got themselves good quarterbacks. They got themselves Dell for the Texans. He looks like he could be good. What was the receiver of this game the Colts have? I can't. He just beat us a couple times.
He was destroyed. Josh Downs.
He looks good. I'm like, well, we don't have any exciting receivers, and we don't have a good young quarterback. So I was like, we need to address this situation here. We're behind the 8-ball in this whole division. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Now, I think we're going to end up being better than the Texans. But I'm still thinking we could be the worst team in this division if we keep playing like this. And that is something I did not see happening. I see us and Jags are going to be the fighting for to win the division, not in the bottom of the AFC South.
I really wish we hadn't drafted Will Levis.
I know I did.
I shouldn't say this out loud. We're 2-3. 2-3. That's all we are. And we already knew, even before we knew if we was going to be good, bad, or in between, we knew the first 6 games were going to be so tough, and then it gets a lot easier after that. We knew that from the get-go. So the fact that's playing out just like we thought, I don't know why we're acting the way we are, besides we're just emotional fans. But if we hadn't gotten Will Levis and we're staring at 4th place in the division, I would be getting excited about Caleb Williams. I'd be getting excited about Drake May. I would be getting to the point where I'm rooting against us. Because at that point, if we hadn't gotten Will Levis, then we would still have Malik Willis as our backup, who I'm like, do we really trust our future in Malik Willis? And let's be honest, Tannehill, he's not the reason we lost, but he hasn't been the reason we've won any of our games either. So he's not making any kind of a case to be re-signed. So Tannehill's going to be gone. If we didn't have Will Levis, then who in the right mind would make Malik Willis their future after what you had seen out of him in year 1 with him? So it'd be completely Caleb Williams season in my mind. Yeah. But instead we got stupid Will Levis, who we moved up, traded our 2nd round pick this year and our 3rd round pick next year.
Such a terrible GM by Mr. Ron Carthon. Because I'll say this, in my opinion, I'm not even saying every single one's going to be good. But I think every quarterback getting drafted in the 1st round next year, I think can be better. And if I had to bet money on it, will be better than Will Levis. So I'm like, what are we doing with this guy on our field, like on our team? I mean, I just don't think he's good at all. Garbage.
That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
I like how every time we win, we're like, okay, I like it. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Every time we lose, we're like, so next season we need to...
Well, this team is just not good. It's just not good at all. If we was in a different division, well, there's not really a strong team in it, we would definitely be the fourth place. That's what I'm just saying. It's just, lucky for us, we're in the AFC South, which is not good, even though it's looking better than we thought it would.
Yeah, we better be happy the Texans decided to lose to the Falcons for some reason.
Oh, we would be,
because they would all be 3-2 with us sitting at 2-3.
2-3, yeah. Yeah, I did expect them to lose to the Falcons though, so that was a lucky break, I guess.
Yeah.
The problem is, as of right now, we're 0-1 in the division, so that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. And we're 1-2 in the conference because we also lost to the Browns in the AFC.
We're probably gonna lose to the Ravens too, so we're setting ourselves up for failure. That's for sure.
Not if they played like they did today, but
who do you trust, Lamar Jackson or Ryan Tannehill? Absolutely, Lamar Jackson.
I don't trust Lamar Jackson one little bit.
Why?
He's hot and cold, very hot and cold, and he gets hurt all the time.
Better than Tannehill is just cold. Anyway, Tannehill's back. Anyway, yeah. I think Ravens will torch us pretty good. Like, please watch our next video. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I think Ravens are going to torch us pretty dang good. Titans do like to surprise me, though, sometimes on who they beat and who they lose to. So maybe, we'll do it. We'll do well against the Ravens, but I just don't see it.
Try and pull up Lamar Jackson's stats real quick to see what he looked like. He was 22 of 38. 236 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick. And he had 6 rushes for 45. So that just kind of looks not really. I don't know.
But Tannehill has 2 touchdowns on the season in 5 games. That is pathetic. Just absolutely.
And it goes right back to just the stalling in the red zone. When you just stall in the red zone.
The thing is, I don't know if it's Kelly's fault or Tannehill's fault, but yes, Tannehill he refuses to throw the ball in the end zone, and you lose games if you don't throw the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
It's just like the Titans' strategy is we throw it underneath and we run into the end zone, and I'm like, you gotta
But it's possible for someone to be standing in pay dirt and you hit them with the ball.
Like last week, the only touchdown Tannehill threw was to Westbrook-Ikhine, and it was short, and he had to run in the end zone. I'm like, why don't you ever throw the ball in the end zone? Yeah.
Don't know why we get so skittish down there. The one and only bright spot is Spears looks good. 2 good things. Spears looks pretty decent. He had 70 yards all purpose and a touchdown.
He looks better than Henry to me, but go ahead.
And Hopkins, obviously.
Yeah, Hopkins, yeah.
Hopkins with his 8 receptions, 140 yards. I really thought he was gonna, have a good day today, which he did. But he's literally about the only one on offense who did have a good day. I wish he would have caught Henry's pass because that was actually a good pass. He should have caught that for a touchdown.
And you realize if Derrick Henry completed that, he would have had just as much touchdowns as Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what we should do next year. Re-sign Henry, move Henry in at quarterback, Tajay Spears at running back.
There you go. Yeah. I just wish why don't we try to give Hopkins some chances in the end zone? Like, why don't we? It's like we refuse to throw the ball to up in the end zone. I don't get it because we got to change something. Because this is not just this week we struggle in the red zone. This is not a this week problem. This is all year problem. So why don't we try something different? What we're doing right now is not working.
We need to figure out a way to get chunk plays. Is what we really need to do.
Yeah, I texted you that I think during the game is that we have no explosiveness on this offense. We really don't. Even on good drives, 12 plays.
It's just nickel and diamond, all the way just to slowly move down the field. And either we stall, kick a field goal with the best kicker that's ever played football, or we just don't. Yeah. If we didn't have Nick Folk, if we're still messing around with Randy
Gregory.
Nope, Randy Bullock. Yeah, Randy Gregory is the linebacker who just got traded from the Broncos.
Oh, yeah,
who did he get traded to?
Yeah.
Can't remember who got traded to.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Yeah, Randy Bullock. We said Randy Bullock, or that one year where we were just switching between a kicker every single couple of weeks. If we still had that situation going on at kicker situation, we would literally have like a 6 points a game average.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. He's keeping us in games. Granted, we're still losing them, but he's keeping us in games. One of those kicks he did was a pretty far kick. I think it's 53 yards when he got it.
Yeah, I think he's done 2 or 3 kicks over 50 yards this year.
He's been good for us. But the thing is, what I say about him and what I say about Hopkins, like, yes, they've been good, but what does it matter? For them, like, they're both veterans. They should just go somewhere else and try to get a Super Bowl, because with us, they got no chance of doing anything.
Here's my biggest issue with us being, if we continue down this path and we end up like 7-10 or something like we were last year, I want D-Hop on our team next year, but he might want out, and I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Yeah,
maybe he shouldn't have signed a 2-year deal, but
yeah,
if he comes here and we just go 7-10, didn't really ever have a big chance at the division or the playoffs, and then he'd just be like, I ain't trying to stick around while they're going with Will Levis or Malik Willis next year, and you couldn't blame him for that.
If you're a receiver, none of that sounds exciting.
No, not at all. I'm trying to think what else we need to say. I've seen this happen so many times the last couple of years, and it drives me up the wall, where we get the ball back one more time, we'd have a chance to score and win this game, and instead their offense just marches down the field.
Yeah, we have not.
It's happened so much lately. We ended up getting it, but we had 1 minute, no timeouts. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. The fact that we only lost by a touchdown, surprising, because I feel like they honestly kicked our butts this game.
I agree. They owned us, and
they kicked a field goal with only a minute left of the game. So technically, we were only down by 4 points.
Well, I think I texted you that as well during the game. Like, the score doesn't look as bad as I feel like, as much as they're owning us right now.
Yeah. Problem is, I don't know what to do to fix it. Apparently, we still had the number 1 running defense coming into the league, and we allowed Zach Moss to go for 170. Yeah, I had it pulled up. It's gonna be disgusting as soon as I read it. Zach Moss, 23 carries, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also had 30 more yards on 2 receptions.
He's not even that good of a, he's not a big name back. So what are we gonna do when we go against backs that's actually good, So
he had 195 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. And everybody was making a huge story about Jonathan Taylor being back.
Absolutely. Maybe they should have given him that new contract.
I'd say just giving it to Zach Moss instead. Jonathan Taylor was 6 rushes, 18 yards. So it's only 3 yards a pop. But we couldn't stop Zach Moss. So, like, our run defense has been golly awful. Our pass defense it's just always been that way for the longest I can remember, since the Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler days. Offense wise, I think we need to do more plays with Henry on the field where we don't give him the ball. Like, now that he's not getting used that much, when we actually have him on the field, teams just stack the box because they know he's going to get the ball. And 90% of the time he's on the field, he does get the ball.
Yeah, I hate to see him end his most like his last year with us like this, but his average is going to be so and his touchdowns is down, his yards are down. It's just, he looks like he gets tackled by the first guy that touches him. He just like, there's one screen we threw, and he had so much space, and a cornerback with one arm kind of just hit his leg, and he just fell over. I'm like, dude, you look like he was gone for the house if you got away from him. So he's frustrating. But anyway, he's a problem, but he's not the problem for us. We're just a team with a lot of holes. That's, at the end of the day, that's what we are. We have a quarterback that's not great, running game that's not great, an offensive line that's not great, a receiving core that's not great. So, and then the secondary, not great. So,
Chick drops a lot. Chick drops so much.
When did he drop any last year? Not that I can remember.
He did. Not that I know of. And he actually had 5 receptions today, but he had at least 1, I think 2 more drops. And they're always third downs.
Yeah.
It's never 1st and 10. We throw him an 8-yard pass and he drops it. It's always like 3rd and 5, and we hit him and he just drops it.
I wish he was doing more yaks like he did last year, but he doesn't really.
It's because as soon as he catches it, someone's on his back, and then he either just gets tackled or just drops it. One or the other. Because, yeah, I'd love to see him in space so he can do what he did last year, but he's never getting the ball in space. So we need to start trying to scheme him open some way, somehow. But, like, if I was Mike Vrabel and I go into the locker room after this, I don't even know what to say. Not even that, because that's more of like a speech. I'm more like thinking after he walks into his office on Monday, like, what do you do?
I don't know. I do not know. We need more talent. We just need more talent. That's one thing we need.
Here's where our biggest issue is. Our team's too old.
It's
like, think about our trio of running back, wide receiver, quarterback. Quarterback is 35. Running back is ready to be 30. And our receiver's 31. Kevin Byard, one of our highest paid defensive players, 30. We have Danico Autry, 33, I think. He's 32 or 33. Nick Folk, even our kicker, 38. Like, our team is a lot of old people on it,
and they ain't helping us because we still made
and then you look at our O line. We got Daniel Brunskill, 29, Raby 30. You got right next to him Chris Hubbard, Raby 32 or 33. Like, we just have an old team. Look at all these other teams. They got these super fast and swift and jukey 22, 23, 24-year-olds. We just got a bunch of old people, and the few slow people are the few young people we do have are just like slow.
Yeah.
Like, or even Chris Moore. Chris Moore, I think he's 30 now. Where I'm just like, why do we have so many old people?
We're definitely not building this team like you should in today's NFL. We're definitely 1,000% don't have the right philosophy, and that I do blame Vrabel and Carthon for that. I mean, some of this is John Robinson, before you said, but I still say the GMs go after Vrabel's identity, and Vrabel's identity is not today's Mike Daniels kind of football, in my opinion.
Interesting take. We just need to bring in more fast people. It was just as simple as that. I mean, it was a step in the right direction bringing in Tyjae Spears, but we didn't draft a single wide receiver until the 7th round, and even then we get a bigger, slower wide receiver in Colton Dowell, and then sign DeAndre Hopkins, old and kind of slow. Then we bring Nick Westbrook-Akina back, middle NFL age, that is, middle-aged, kind of slow. Where it's like we just need to go get some fast people. Like, we really do. Like, I see so many teams, well, they'll just throw the ball like a slant to some no-namer. I have no idea who he is, and he just turns on the jets and starts running. And just gets an extra 6 or 7 yards, breaks no tackles, but just by pure speed is able to make something happen. And we just don't have any of those people. Like,
where the people catching the ball as well, he's getting tackled.
Yeah, like Trevon Wesco is a nice 21-yard gain. We threw it to him. I'm like, look at this guy trying to run. I think I could outrun him.
Yeah, no, you're right. We need speed on this team.
We have to get more speed, honestly, on both sides of the ball, because our defense. Minus against the Bengals, heck of a game plan against the Bengals. If we take that out, our defense just looks so sluggish and just can't keep up and just slow. Like, I feel like every single time we have a quarterback against us who rolls out, you see like 2 or 3 defensive linemen going, just chasing, looking so slow and uncoordinated. I'm like, why are we just so slow on both sides of the ball?
We really are.
It's just stupid.
I just want our defense to do better, and I know we just came off a week where we allowed 3 points, but the week before that we sucked because our offense is not going to be that good. Even on our best days, I think our offense is not going to be great. We need our defense to keep us in games. So we're having too many games where our defense just sucks, and that is something we did not want to have.
The 3 games that we lost, all 3 games the team scored in the 20s.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you can't even blame injuries on our defense this year.
I lied. Because technically the Saints didn't get in the 20s, but then technically the Chargers did.
Yeah. But last year, we started stalling on defense at the end of the year, and we just didn't look good. And you probably rightfully so blamed injuries. But this year, we're healthy. Our defense is not injured. So
yeah, I agree.
Honestly, you know what's funny? We're 2-3, but this has been a decent year for us when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. At this point, we're just old.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we kind of solved our problem. I feel like we have way too many 30 plus or 29-year-olds on our team.
You know what? I hate to say this, but you know what that sounds like? Rebuild is what we need to do.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought you were saying what we are doing. I was about to say, no, it's the opposite, because usually teams that rebuild is what they do is they trade away all the good 30-year-old players.
What we need to do is rebuild and get some of these old people out.
I think we need to win this Ravens game if we want to keep our season alive. And you might say, why? Because if we don't, then we're sitting there at 2-4 with the trade deadline right there. And there are teams who would love Byard.
Yeah.
There are teams who would love, honestly, I know we just signed him, would love DeAndre Hopkins. There are teams like the Jets who might actually want Ryan Tannehill. There are teams who think they want Derrick Henry. We have aging veterans that a lot of teams who are going for it this season would love to take off of us. And if we're sitting there at 2-4, it's tempting if you're Rand Carthon. Thinking, I've already got the cap space next year. Now I'm about to have cap space and draft capital.
And I would say this, part of me,
I would understand it. I wouldn't like it, but I understand it.
Part of it would hurt because, so the rest of the season, I could care less. Actually, I want us to lose. And that gets annoying as a fan when you get to a point where you just want to lose because you're like, what's the point of watching? But at the same time, it does set us up to have an interesting offseason, to have capital, draft capital, and salary cap space. You know what I mean? If we have both those.
What the problem is?
What?
For what? Will Levis?
That's what it boils down to is we got a bad quarterback. It was supposed to be our future. And that was Shane McCarthon. I called that as soon as I think you did too. Actually, I think you did it before me. As soon as we drafted Will Levis, you was like, I am so mad. You said something like that. You did not want to.
There are several quarterbacks I would have been okay with. Obviously, if somehow Bryce Young would have fallen to us, somehow I would have liked that, even though he has not looked good this year.
He has not, and he was my slam dunk. He's going to be good. But
yeah, the sad thing is my slam dunk is going to be good with CJ Stroud, and that's who I really, really, really want us to go after. And guess what? He's killing it with the Texans. I would have been okay with Anthony Richardson because he was so young. I was like, he can sit behind Tannehill for a year, and then the year after we can go with Anthony Richardson because obviously the athleticism's there, and so is the big arm. Who's that? The Vols quarterback. His name Hendon Hooker. There you go. I was like, I kind of like the idea of him.
I liked him better than Will Levis.
He led up the stat sheet at least. The only top-rated quarterback that I was anti was Will Levis.
That's what we got.
That's what we got.
One thing, now there's a lot of stuff I don't like about Will Levis, but he's just not flashy. He's not he's one of those strong-armed guys. I'm like,
to me, he looks like. To me, he's basically a Baker Mayfield / Gardner Minshew, where he's a gunslinger. He's just gonna throw the ball around with no care in the world. He's gonna do these weird gritty runs where he puts himself in harm's way too much on these gritty runs. Where I'm like, I see you're the big tough guy, but I don't know. They just lack the it factor.
I've said this before, and just more I watch football, more I care about accuracy so much more than I care about strong arms. Because we have a history of drafting strong arm quarterbacks who's not that accurate, and it never works out. And that's what Will Levis is basically. Can't hit the broadside of a bone, but he has a strong arm. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we're going a lot about next year and stuff, but
yeah. And again, we're 2-3, so if we somehow get ourselves where we're like 8-4, they go like, do you remember when we were 2-3 and talking about next year, and that's all we would talk about? But it's highly doubtful. But at the same time, we're also the most hot and cold team in the entire world. We got slaughtered by the Browns, slaughtered the Bengals, who last I saw were kicking the Cardinals' butt today. What? Up by 3, you said?
10-7.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It was 10-0 last I saw. But anyways, so then we kick their butts, but then we lose where we should not have lost to the Colts. So now we might win where we weren't supposed to win to the Ravens. And I hate to say it after all this, it would change my tune again. Because again, we knew the hardest 6-game stretch by far was going to be that first 6. You predicted, even though you said we were going to go 9-8, you still predicted 2-4 or 8-9. You still predicted we go 2-4.
I know.
I predicted we go 3-3. So it's one of us are going to be right. And it's either going to be 2-4 or 3-3.
I mean, you have a good point. I don't like to say that, but we are both like, let's sell everything and we suck. But technically, we are right where we predicted us to be.
That's it, because one of us are going to be right. One of us is going to be the right. The one that's not right is only a game off.
Yeah.
So none of us have missed the
Granted,
mark.
I predicted us 8-9 missing the playoffs, so technically you don't want me to be right. So if we are right where I want to be, it's not where we want to be, if you know what I mean. But we, like you said, we do have easier games coming along. But here's the thing: the way we can play, we can lose to easily some of these some of these easy games. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
for
won't
some
put it
reason the
past us.
Falcons aren't good, but they seem to keep sticking around and pulling out
Well,
dubs they're not
They're
supposed to
three and
get.
two. They're 3-2 right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, they could definitely beat us. The Texans can beat us. Those are some easy games that we said. I think they could beat us. So
Got
yeah,
the-
we definitely have some of these games that's easy. We can lose.
I mean, yeah. Sadly, I don't think there's any team we can't beat, but I don't think there's any team we can't get beat by. Like we're going against the Panthers. That'll be the game where everyone's like, "There's that first overall pick potential that everybody was seeing with Bryce Young," and he's gonna look like that, light us up, and then just go back to being like he's been.
That's
So.
what Zach Wilson did.
That's exactly what Zach Wilson did. He looked horrible, then he kicks our butt. And he didn't kick our butt, but he just beats us. And everyone's like, "There's that quarterback we all knew he could be," and then he went back to sucking ever since. Still sucking to this day. But anyways, we really are talking mostly about the future at this point. That's our reaction. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, I do. Next week, me and Gabriel will be on the road, so we may have a hard time making a video. We also might have a hard time watching the game. So just that. So because we will be driving on Sunday, won't we?
Sunday after the game, yeah, we'll be driving home.
So we might or may not, because we won't probably be watching much of the game. We might be listening on the radio because we will. So
yeah, we'll be in Tennessee.
So we could be listening to it on the radio. So we might make a recap. We may not. So just that.
We might not even be able to make a preview. We'll see.
That's true too.
You might not get anything, so you might not hear from us for a while. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
But don't get your hopes up. It might be just a video of us two sitting next to each other, just giving a quick 10-minute preview, and then that might be that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see how it goes. But whatever happens, Titan down.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, that's all we got. So there's your Titans therapy session for the day, and we'll talk to you next week. Maybe. Bye.